where real estate meets mindset, marketing, and momentum. I'm your host, Jimmy Nelson, and today we are coming to you live from the Royal Oath Insurance Group right here in Clinton Township, Michigan. Big shout out to the entire team here. Royal Oath is more than just an insurance agent. They're your promise keepers. Whether it's auto, home, business, life, or health insurance, they're here to protect what matters to you most. You can check them out at royaloathinsurance.com or give them a call at 586-238-3535. And of course, today's episode is brought to you in part by our friends at Connection, the CRM built for closers. If you're a real estate agent, entrepreneur, or small business owner looking to automate, follow up, and close more deals and stay top of mind, then Connection is your secret weapon. Go to yourconnection.com and take control of your pipeline today. Now, whether you're tuning in live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, or X, catching the replay on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you stream, we're glad you're here. Do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment, and share this with a friend, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. All right, guys, let's get locked in. We've got a powerhouse show lined up today, and if you're in business or real estate or just building something big, this one is for you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Elite Real Estate Podcast again on a fabulous Friday morning, and I am excited about my guest today. We've known each other for a long time, and super excited to get him on. We needed to get him on a long time ago, but Mark White, my friend, how are you today?
Hey, good morning, Jimmy. Thanks for having me on, man. I'm doing great.
Of course, man. Of course. Yeah. We needed to get you on before, but timing, it's not on our time, it's on his time. So you know what I mean? It's all up in the air. So Mark White, let's just dive into this, man. How long you been in the business? Because you've done a lot, man, in a good span of time. You've done a lot of good, cool things.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. I jumped into real estate on a whim in the summer of 2018.
Yourself.
Oh, hold on. Can you hear me now?
No.
Uh-oh, technical difficulties. What's going on? Hey, test. Test. Nothing? No? Jimmy, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me? Jimmy, can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Can you hear me now? Hello. Yo. Can you hear me? Jimmy. Hello. I'm going to come back.
Check.
Jimmy, can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Jimmy, can you hear me?
This is what live streaming does.
Can you hear me? Hey, Jimmy, can you hear me?
It's
Jimmy,
Can you hear me?
you there? I can hear you now.
Okay, you can hear me.
Yeah, it's a little bit robotic, but I got you, I think. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now.
Okay, okay. That's so weird. It was working before we hopped on. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I think we're good, man.
There's definitely a little bit of a latency, a little lag between us, but I can hear you. Um, we're good. Okay. I got into real estate kind of on a whim in the summer of 2018. Um, I was kind of just burnt out at what I was doing before, which I kind of just floundered around in my in my early 20s. Like I just still didn't really know what I wanted to do for sure. And so I was looking for something to get into, something I could make a career out of, something that I would enjoy. And I was always good at kind of always dabbled in sales, but I never knew anything about real estate. And one afternoon, saw a friend from high school post something on Instagram that, he was in real estate. He had sold a house. And I reached out to him and I was like, hey, man, how did you get started in that? And tell me a little bit about it. And, we joke now that he should have warned me of, to not get into real estate just because it's a crazy world and, we're always on call and, whatnot. But, he said he enjoyed it. And, so I decided to just jump in head first. I took the state 40-hour class Monday through Friday. So 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And then studied over the weekend and took the exam on Monday and passed first time. And so within 1 week, I was licensed. And then I was like, okay, now what? And I started interviewing places and ended up joining at KW Metro in Royal Oak. And we can get into what happened next, but that's the history. That's how I got started.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. Like again, it takes a week, right? It takes a whole week to get your a whole week to get your stuff done, and then you're licensed, ready to go, ready to rock and roll.
Yep, yep. I'm still getting weird sound from you. I'm gonna try to just turn my speakers on instead of my AirPods. I can't hear you very good. Hopefully you can hear me all right. Technical difficulties, huh? Jimmy? Can you hear me all right? I got no sound from you again. Oh man. This is crazy. I can't hear anything. Hey, hey, say something. Can I hear you?
Okay, everybody, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You sound like a robot, but I think I can work with it. I mean, hopefully they don't hear you as a robot. All right, let's go.
Yeah, I'm getting text messages. I'm getting and when I can be heard as robotic. So here, let me do this. I'm gonna pause now for a second.
Okay. Okay.
All right, check.
Hey. Can you hear me? Jimmy, you got me? I can see your mouth moving, but I can't hear you. Oh man, I feel so terrible. Jimmy? And then I get a random cough, but then I can't hear anything you say.
Yeah, everybody said they can hear you. There's an issue on my end, and I don't know what happened.
Okay. We'll work with it. Yeah. It is what it is. Hopefully we're good. Sorry for the getting derailed. Where were we? So I got into real estate in 2018, and yeah, got my test and got my license in 1 week, which we can talk about. That's a whole nother story. I mean, it's great that anyone can get into it, but I also personally, after being in it for a while, I feel like there should be a little bit stricter standards and a little bit higher, cost to maintaining the license, just to kind of get some of the people who aren't serious out of our industry, because they do a disservice to the customers, and they certainly do a disservice uh, not only to their customers, who, if they're not doing it professionally, but also our customers on the other side, because they're not skilled, they're not doing real estate full time, and then they're also doing a disservice just to the real estate industry in general. I really do believe, because that's when you hear a lot of these stories about real estate agents that never answered the phone or never called their clients back, or all these horror stories. I got to believe that most of those are about part-time agents or people who aren't taking it seriously, second careers. Because the people that I know that do it professionally are on all the time, and they're there for their clients. I can't hear you. I want to answer your question, but I don't know what you asked me.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Or,
Yeah.
okay. Is it coming through weird?
It's coming through weird. Yeah. But I'm working with it.
All right. So, the you were talking about these agents, and I just closed the deal. Actually, agent was very good. He was a very, very good agent. But he was a full time. He was a full time engineer. So when so he worked all day, right? So it was very hard to get a hold of him during the day, like when I was working. And then anytime I had to communicate with him, it was after 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, when stuff happens, you know, I'm like, if something happens, like inspections and everything else during the transaction, when stuff happens, now all of a sudden I can't get a hold of you at 2 o'clock because you worked till 4. But he was a very good agent. I will give him that. He was a very good agent. So it just made it difficult to get through the transaction a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? I mean, I mean, this is most people's largest asset, if not their largest. It's one of their biggest. And imagine if you hired a lawyer to represent you in a very serious court case, and between the hours of 8 and 5, he was, I don't know, flipping pizzas for a living, and you
Yeah.
could only talk to this lawyer after 5 p.m. It's kind of crazy that exists in our industry, but it does.
Yeah. And it's funny because then I want to say, too, like, we need to treat this more professional. I think a lot of people, like you said, you started out the show, like, it's a week, when you got your license, you're ready to go. And that's all, like in Michigan, it's 40 hours. So it's all it takes, and then all of a sudden you're handling people's largest transactions that are like crazy.
Yeah. Now, luckily, I had really good coaching and some really good mentors. In fact, you were my first productivity coach at KW Metro when I first got licensed and joined a brokerage. Although we were just joking about how I didn't utilize you quite enough, but that's how we met. It was one of my first weeks in the job. They told me to go down and see Jimmy in the productivity coach office and get some coaching tips and connect with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny. Yeah. That was a while ago, but, but you've done, and so your story, you started out in the business. How old were you when you got started?
I was 28.
Okay. Okay. And in these years, you've done a lot of cool stuff, man. Like you have your own team now. You're doing, a lot of, how many people are on your team now?
Last I checked, we have about four. I think we have 49 agents on the roster.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. We need to update that because I went to Claude and get some information from you. It said you were a 25-person
Yeah,
team. So,
I think my bio needs to be updated. Yes, we've been. I hired a recruiter about 3 months ago, and we really kind of beefed up our marketing and our advertising towards agents. And he's been doing a great job. I've been lining them up for him through our marketing, and he's been knocking them down. So right now we're pretty steadily adding about 8 agents every month. We lose a couple here and there. Some don't work out, but we're adding 8 every month. I lost you again. I can see your
all right.
mouth moving.
All right. How's that? Is that better? I'm making adjustments here, man.
Um,
On the
it's
fly, I'll figure it out.
still robotic, but we're working with it.
Yeah. That's the message. The message I'm getting is that my voice is very robotic.
Yes, your voice is robotic. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. It's on my end. It's not on you. It's me.
That's okay.
This is how you break up with people. It's not you. It's me.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, we're gonna
It's a
play
little
through.
better now. It's a little better.
Okay, we're gonna play through it. So now you got 49 people on your roster, and we talked a little bit before you got on today. Let me ask you this: when you decided to start a team, and you had this vision uh, for starting a team, what was it like when you first started it? Was it what you thought it was, or did you have to like shift a lot of gears?
Oh man. I mean, I know sports cars have like a 9-gear transmission. Do they make cars that have like a 40-gear transmission? Because that's what I feel like I'm driving. We switch gears, every quarter, every week. No, it was not what I thought. I thought I lived in fairy tale world where I thought if I just hired 5 agents, paid $5 grand a month in Zillow, brought in a bunch of leads, and I thought everyone would be as good as me. And not to say I'm the best, but like I worked hard, I worked the leads, I followed up, I did what I was told, did what I was coached to do. And in reality, people just aren't you. Replicating yourself is probably getting closer with technology and AI and stuff, but we're not there yet. So yeah, I thought it would just be an easy thing. You hold their hands, you provide them some resources, you coach them a little bit, and the longer you get into it, I think the more you realize, how important it is to be hands on, to really run it like a business, to really focus on people. People at the end of the day are what are our biggest resources as a team leader. Having great people will lead to great results, and if you have some mediocre people or some not so great people, that kind of drags the whole ship down a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny. So we do our morning coaching all every day, and we were actually talking about this subject this week, right? I was talking with Alabama, and I were talking about this. And, that is a lot of people's aspirations is to start a team, build it out, and we talked about some of the the Mark Z's just the Jeff Lovers, right? Like those guys that started this, and but I don't think any one of them are on the same iteration of when they started, right? Like it's changed and evolved and done so many things over the years. And so how long has your team? How long would you start your team?
Yeah, I started it in 2023. So we're in our fourth year of business now.
Okay. So 4 years of business, and now you're at 49 agents, dude. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and we have really good attrition too. We don't lose too many people. Most of the time we lose people, it's they aren't, they aren't really, it's not working out for them in real estate, and so they just leave the industry. But yeah, it is, you know, a different iteration. I mean, we're implementing. We meet every Monday, and every Monday we have new stuff that we're rolling out. We're always adding, we're always tweaking, we're always, finessing and fine tuning what we offer, what we expect. New tools, new technology. I mean, the industry is moving so fast, and really the whole world is moving fast with AI. So there's a lot to stay on top of for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And I think that's a true testament to me. Even doing it in 4 years, I think it's a true testament to you and your leadership, because it's like I've done it. I've done it at a large scale level. You know what I mean? I run 120 agents, and I've done it at a small scale, running 5 to 7. And so, but the 4 years, and I think it's a true testament to your leadership. And again, you surround yourself with the right people. I think that really matters.
Oh yeah, absolutely, it does. I mean, you gotta, there's a cliche saying, everyone's probably heard it, but if you're the smartest man in the room, you're in the wrong room. So, um, always trying to, pick people's brains that have been where I've been and built something, really respectable. Um, Surrounded by you, I'm surrounded by Kurt, all the great people at EXP, Mark, Ken Hirschman, Austin Pottas, bunch of people that are all, really great at their jobs, either running a team or, directing a sales team, recruiting, whatnot. I'm always jumping into, master classes and through the fast forward movement, and really anything else I can get my hands on. It's, you can't ever stop being a student. As soon as you think you know it all, you're screwed.
Yeah, simply put, brother. It is, and I think that's one of the biggest things that that people don't understand about the business. I think they just don't understand. Again, it's one of the things that I've learned along the way too is if it's people always say if it's not fixed, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? But sometimes you just gotta break it, right?
Yeah,
because you just gotta break it because there's expansion. There's we're gonna grow, we're gonna do different things. So it's how can I make this better? And then if you're scaling and trying to make it bigger, I gotta break some stuff to scale it, because if you go from 5 to 10 people, all of a sudden you just double your team size.
Yeah.
And so what are some of those lessons you've learned along the way so far?
I think probably the biggest lesson is you just have to keep believing in yourself, and keep betting on yourself. Even when you look at, some of these, billionaire entrepreneurs, Bill Gates and, Elon and stuff, and Apple, right? These guys started in the garage and everyone told them they're crazy, and they had a vision and they kept going and kept pushing, kept, like we talked about, kept putting out new iterations, kept adapting with the times, kept integrating new technology and new ideas, and look where they're at now. Now, I don't think I'll ever be a Elon Musk. I'm in real estate here. I'm not sending people to space, but so, but it's a lesson that can be translated into any business. And I think it's, I mean, even in real estate as a solo agent, I think it's easy to have a couple strings of bad deals, bad months, feel burnt out, and maybe contemplate if this is the right thing for you. And if you decide that it is, all you can do is keep going, keep betting on yourself, keep working hard, and believe. Not to be religious, but like believe that God's got your back, right? And it's all going to work out for you.
Yeah, no, man, you can be religious. It is what it is. It's like my biggest thing is my faith, my family, right? It's those are the things, and those are the things that I think keep us grounded. One, right? And I think the second part is that sometimes it's blind faith that this is going to work out, right?
Yeah,
you hear a lot of things from a lot of people like, I don't know if this is going to work out for you, but I know where I'm at. I know who I am, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I've taken away from like Gary Vee, right? And you said like, well, Elon's billionaire or trillionaire, whatever he is now, and he's sending people to space. But I think one of the biggest lessons I learned from Gary Vee is like find your happy place, right? And if your happy place, I tell the agents all the time too that I coach, and I tell agents all the time like, if you're comfortable making 70 to 100,000 a year, if you're falling in that space, but you're happy, like you've got family time, you're paying your bills, you're not stressed out, and you make 70 grand a year, then live there. You know what I mean? Like if that makes you happy and you're good and family's good and you're taking care, like just live there. Like you don't have to add these extra stressors on because social media tells us social media is supposed to be that's most of the time anyway. But
yeah,
but but find your happy spot. You know what I mean? I think that's the most important thing for people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone that comes in, and wants to join our team, we sit down with them and kind of plan out their year, plan out their best case scenario, what their goal is. Most people land around 100K, but some people land a little lower. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to make 60K and have time to be there for your family, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to make 400K and working your tail off. Everyone's got a little different appetite for that, and I think you're spot on, Jimmy. It's about finding what works for you and what your perfect life looks like, and that's what we sit down with agents and do. We say, hey, where do you want to be in 5 years? What does that look like for you? What do we need to do today to get you there? And what happens if you don't get there, right? What are the repercussions of if you don't do this and because everyone can say they want to make 400K, but when it comes down to the work involved to actually make 400K in real estate, I mean, you're busy, you're working a lot, and you're going to have to make sacrifices. And so we always, we'll see that for sure. We'll see people that have big dreams, but then when the work comes and they actually realize what it takes to get that, a lot of times they change and they say, you know what, I'm good with 100 or 150 or 200. I'd rather work a little bit less and have more time to enjoy my life.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, there is something to a lot of that, and I everybody wants to be a millionaire until they figure out what millionaires do, and to your point, there is some sacrifice there, right? There is some of that sacrifice that I do need to make sacrifices if I want to get to these different levels, but I also think that if you me, I'm a big time blocker, right? If you're blocking your time, right, and you're doing that's the thing, it's focusing on the times that you actually have to focus on, and the rest will take care of itself. Like you can make 150 grand a year in this business and work till 3 o'clock in the afternoon and be done. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Now there may be those days though that you got to go on showings or go on appointments after 5, right? Because the general population of people that we're working with work till 5 o'clock. They're not like us, right? They don't have that control over their time like we do. So there is some of that, but I think that's the most important thing. And there's nothing like you get your busiest time when you go on vacation. Never, and that never stops. Every time you plan on going away for a weekend or taking a vacation, I feel like that just gets agents busier. Like it's like crap. I was like a weekend, so I wasn't doing anything. Now I'm leaving, and I got 7 things to do. So there's nothing like that. So where do you see Mark White and Associates going from here? Like what's the next?
Yeah. Great question. Right now we're really focused on getting our people to be top producers, in our market and to hit their goals. I've always said that I didn't care about agent count. Like, it's not a vanity stat for me. If I have 10 agents that sell 50 houses each, and that means we're at 500 units, I'm happy with that. And if the most important thing to me is that the people that are on my team are meeting their goals. So we're working really hard right now, and shout out to Joe, my director of sales. He's awesome, and he's been revamping our training, and really diving into getting through some of the gaps that some newer agents have. Um, and so, a combination of, yes, we do want to be larger, we want to do more sales, but ultimately, the true metric that's kind of hard to measure on paper is how happy are my agents? How are they doing? How much money are they earning? How much family time do they get? And a lot of what we built is to strip away a lot of the admin side of the job from our agents' plate so that they can simply focus on work finding deals and working with their clients, and then we'll take care of all of the back end stuff for them. Um, and from a business side, we want to get to 500 units, 100 million in the next year or two. We're probably going to end up around 37, 38, maybe 40 million this year. So we've got a little bit of work to do still. But numbers are up from last year, and everything's tracking in the right direction. So it's just a matter of continuously. I think as a team leader, you always have to be recruiting. We're always looking for fresh talent, for new people who are hungry. It helps with the culture because you get new people that come in, and when they're hungry, they hit it hard. And then the old dogs on the team see these new guys coming up and crushing phone calls and getting appointments and pendings and whatnot, and it kind of puts a kick in their butt too. So we're always looking for new people, but at the same time, we're always assessing who's doing the work, who's still a good person, who's committed to doing what they said they would do, and really diving in and coaching with the people who show up. I can't want it for you, and I can't make you want it. And I think that's another good lesson that we learned, was trying to chase down some people who just weren't showing up and weren't doing the work. Hey, if you don't want to show up and you don't want to do the work, guess what? In real estate, you don't get paid, right? Like, there's no salary. You're your only employee. And the question we always ask our agents is, hey, when you look at yesterday and you're a boss, you're the boss of your company, right? Because you're an independent contractor. Would you hire yourself again this morning? And if the answer is no, then something needs to change, right? Because you are the only thing that's going to get you paid. So, but back to my point, we can't chase them down. We can't want it more than them. And so we spend time coaching with the agents who want it, who are showing up. And of course we, nudge and remind and try to, figure out what's going on with someone who kind of falls off and get them back on track. That's part of the game too. But at the end of the day, someone has to want it for themselves, and we're there to guide them, to coach them, to show them the path and hold them accountable. And the work is up to each of us individually. Like, I think that's what you said when we first got on the call is, you just got to do the work, right?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just, you have to do the stuff, right? Like, you got to do the stuff that will get you to the business. And again, I had the opportunity to come out to your place a couple times to do a couple trainings, and that's always my thing is, you eventually have to pick up the phone. Eventually, you have to talk to people. Eventually, you have to have conversations. And for what you're doing today, I think this is one of the hardest parts about agents for getting into it. It's expensive to get into it, right? It's not cheap between your classes and your licensing and then your core dues and your broker dues and this due and that due and all the dues that we get, to not sell anything, right? That's why it's amazing when I look at stats of agents that don't sell anything. It's expensive. And so I think that, but the pattern is, like, if even if if you had someone walk up to you right now and say, I want to buy a house, well, you're not getting paid on that for at least 45 days. You know what I mean? If they were right now ready to go, had a pre-approval, like had a mortgage already, like you're 45 days out probably from, and that's quick. That would be very quick for that to happen by the time you got them out the show, the house and everything else. So, but I say that to say, like, I think that's the important part of being on a team, and finding the right team leader that's going to pour into you and get you back into that. And that's one of the things that you guys do over there is pour back into your agents to show them, the path to how this goes. So it's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, for sure. Again, many iterations. We've started with A, B, C, D, and we're on to Z1 at this point. But yeah, it's. I say this a lot too in our team meetings and team trainings is, people have phone reluctance. Not many people like cold calling. We got a few people on our team who actually enjoy it, but for the most part, people don't like it. But it's kind of a necessary, evil of our job. I mean, there are some agents that are able to figure it out, who get really good at YouTube or Instagram or word of mouth and are out in the network, out in the streets and networking and have a good sphere of influence. But for the most part, even with those people, calls are still a part of it. I mean, you could know all 100 buyers who want to buy this year, and if you don't ever talk to them, you're not selling them a house, right? So you got to pick up the phone, even if it's not cold calling. But one of the things I always say to my team is, hey guys, look, you have to be a self-starter in real estate, right? You have to want it, and then you have to want it bad enough to actually sit through the work that it takes. Because I compare it this way. I said, hey guys, if I hired you today as a W-2 employee, and I said, all you got to do is sit on the phones from 9 to 2 p.m. every day, and I'll pay you $100,000 every year. Who takes that job? They all do. They all take that job. They will sit on the phones from 9 to 2 to know that they have $100,000 coming into the bank account every year. The question I always ask is, well, why aren't you then? Because all you have to do is that, and you will make more than what I'm paying you W-2. If an agent truly sat on the phones and worked on their skills and improved and got better and dedicated 9 to 2, 5 days a week, even 4 days a week, the entire year, they will make far more than $100,000. I promise you. But we all have this flexibility, and we don't treat it like a business. And we let life get in the way. We take afternoons off. We all got into it for flexibility, which was a massive scam. I think most agents realize now. But it is a beautiful thing that we do have the flexibility, but you have to earn the flexibility. I mean, at the end of the day, most of us are providing for our family or building our future. And, even maybe in some cases, it's like supplemental income for the family. The husband or the wife makes, the main bread, and the real estate agent is providing the fun stuff. But either way, that's something that you want, that your family wants, that is going to improve everyone's life around you. And at the end of the day, it's up to us. And so it really is something that we try to work with everyone is, guys, I mean, even if you did 9 to 12 and you just consistency is what is going to drive the needle. You can't pick up the phone for one day and say it didn't work. You can't go to one open house and say, I didn't get any leads, I'm not doing any more open houses. Consistency, that's what makes the difference between a part-time agent and a full-time agent, or a struggling agent and a successful agent.
Yeah. Dude, you're nailing a lot of stuff. Yeah, you're nailing a lot of stuff. And I think one of the biggest takeaways too is that flexibility. You know what I mean? That flexibility that we do have. And we do have that. And coming out of the corporate world, I didn't have flexibility. I mean, I had to be at the office when I had to be at the office. I had to stay when the work was done. All those kind of things. And I see a lot of agents that get out of that world, whether it's corporate world or most of us come out of some sort of service industry. But that they come out of that corporate world, and I'm like, if you just did, like to your point, just 9 to 2, where you were just focused on
your work, and that's what you did. And I could even argue with you and say if you did 9 to 12, right? If you just like stay on the phone for 3 hours a day and just hammer the phone, call people, and again, it doesn't have to be just ice cold calling. It can be warm calling. It can be calling your own sphere or your own people. But if you just 3 hours a day, if you just focus on 3 hours a day, then after 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, if you should be on an appointment or meeting with people or taking buyers out, something like that. But to your point, you could make way more money. But again, those 3 hours have to be focused on I need to contact as many people as possible. And so, it's amazing to watch some new agents get into it and have a lot of success, and some agents get into it and not. And we all know when we look at it, when we look at the numbers, it's about like how many people do I talk to. It just comes down to something as simple as how many people do I talk to and how many conversations can I have per day and how many people can I actually talk to about real estate. That's pretty much as simple as it is.
Yeah, it's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. It doesn't matter how you're getting these people, if they're open house leads or internet leads or your sphere of influence or cash offer. There's a million different ways to get these phone numbers. You can dial the expires, dial for sale by owners. But besides social media, which again takes a different skill set and also consistency. You cannot just post one day a week and think you're going to all of a sudden get a bunch of business from Instagram. So whatever you do choose, you have to do it consistently. And if you're a social media person and you love being on camera, that's great. But do that every single day, And if you like being on the phones, or even if you don't, but you know that it works, it really is mind-boggling sometimes when you sit down and you say, hey, all you need to do is dial from 9 to 12. That's 3 hours a day, right? That's not a lot of work. It's not a lot of work, right? It's 15 hours a week. And you can make 100K plus. I think a lot of people would be really happy working 3 hours a day and making 100K plus. Of course, there's showings and stuff that comes in the afternoon and on the weekends and such, but that's the fun part of the job. I don't even really consider that work. I mean, I love being in my car, listening to music, going to meet some people to show them a house, or going to sit down at seeing a nice house and meeting a nice couple who's trying to sell their house. That part's fun. It's not really work. The work is finding the clients. And, it kind of goes back to a saying that I've heard, a bunch of times is, the best real estate agent doesn't win. The best marketer wins. You could know all the contracts, all the clauses, all the cities, all the streets, all the school districts, all the tax rates. You could be the most knowledgeable real estate in the entire state of Michigan. But if you are not talking to people and people don't know who you are, you don't sell any houses.
No, you're a transaction coordinator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which we all really need, because that's one of the other things too, right? Like I know what agents are good at, and I know what good agents are good at, and they're not good at paperwork, and they're not usually good at follow up. Like those are the two things that I see most agents, including myself. Like this is a shade on every other agent. This is a shade on the industry. It's the top agents that I know typically, unless they have their, that's the important part of like systems. Having your system set up, your follow up set up, all those things, because now we do have all this AI technology, and I think that's one of the biggest things that's going to help us is our follow up, making sure that our tasks are set like that is going in there. What's some of the biggest things your team is working with AI right
now? The biggest thing probably is I built a custom learning management system. We call it the Academy. I built it through Claude Code, and Joe, my director of sales, has helped me just kind of tweak the content a little bit. But I'm not a website builder, and I don't know the first thing about it. But I used Claude, and I mean, I don't know if I can share how that works, but dude, it's crazy. I mean, I have this beautifully branded completely proprietary website called Academy. And inside of it, we have all of our lessons, all of our course material. Everything is quiz based. We have a game plan for new agents to follow with that combines the online learning with field reps, like shadowing open houses, shadowing inspections, shadowing buyer seller appointments, doing home previews, et cetera, et cetera. And we have an AI search function built in there, so you can ask AI if you have a specific situation that you're not sure how to handle. We also have just every single word, every single transcript of every single video in the training is searchable. So when you do go to the search bar and you're looking for some, obscure saying, every single word that's ever been said on one of our video recordings is all searchable in there, and then points you exactly to where you need to go and find it. All of our contracts are in there, all of our links, our logos, our assets, as well as an AI role play. So you can pop on there and pick a scenario, and you can either type or talk back to the AI, and it will role play with you on different scenarios. And I actually have it plugged into Follow Up Boss. So when we have a new agent join, they're automatically in there, and we can see how this new agent is doing compared to our game plan. We want them to do 1,000 dials a week once they get started and get situated, so that we can show them, hey, this is kind of just what it takes. You can ramp this down, but in the beginning, we want you to get reps. You got to get reps. So it plugs right into Follow Up Boss through the API. We know exactly how many calls, appointments, dials, texts, everything that they're sending. And it syncs into our plan for them. So we can see, they did 580 calls out of the 1,000 for this week, and just gives us really good visibility into that. I feel like there's a couple other features that I'm forgetting, but it's crazy. I mean, we kind of struggled with our learning management system for a while. Like, it worked, but it wasn't very functional. It was hard to find things. You had to really dig through stuff to find it. And this is just at your fingertips. You want to know about an EMD, type EMD in, it'll point you to all the lessons, and boom, people have access at their fingertips. So we're really stoked about that.
That's incredible, man. That is absolutely incredible. And the fact that you plugged it into Follow Up Boss, so then now people, you're helping your agents again, putting those guardrails up, making sure that they're getting to the place that they want to get to, and that's an incredible thing. But this is a big lesson for those people that are, you've been doing this for 4 years as a team leader. But I think one of the biggest things that people can take away from this is you've never stopped evolving. You've never stopped changing. You've never rested on the fact that, well, like you said, your old learning management system probably could have gotten away with it for a while, right? It would have been okay. It would have been all right. Yeah, you got to dig through some stuff, but now you've just made this so much easier for not only yourself as a team leader to be able to go in and look at numbers and track everything, but also for your agents to be able to just go in and role play and click on things and kind of mess around with it. So that's a big, again, that's one thing I want people to understand. When you're building something that you're trying to build, you can't stop evolving. You have to keep going back. So what we talked about at the very beginning was, you got to break some things. And, you had an LMS that you broke and had to fix, and you went and caught and just did it yourself. That's incredible.
Yeah. Thanks. And I mean, honestly, that goes back to just like human beings, right? We're either growing or we're dying. There's no in between. We're either getting better or we're getting worse. And, that translates into business. But I think even in our own personal lives, I mean, speaking personally, I had to break things. I had to learn hard lessons in order to get to where I wanted to go and be where I am today. And that continues on. I'm never done growing. I'm certainly not perfect. I have more lessons to learn. I know that I'm not the smartest person in the room. I believe in myself and I believe in my talents and my skills, but I always have to remain humble and just know that, hey, there's more lessons out there. I need to always be looking at myself, how I can become a better person, a better leader, a better, son, a better friend, boyfriend, husband, whatever. And that's kind of like, I mean, that might be, I don't know if people talk about it enough, but that might be the bigger burden of being a team leader is, they're all looking to you. I mean, these 49, 50 agents that joined my team, believed in me, believed in what we can do to help them, believed in, our ability to help them get to where they want to be, not only in real estate, but in life. And it's a unique industry in the sense that, it really is kind of a tight knit, like family type industry. We know what's going on with our agents. We kind of have to help coach them and understand what's going on with them. And, when you think about corporate world, Jimmy, I'm sure that it was just you clock into work, I mean, sure, you have some friends and some people and stuff, but no, your boss isn't sitting down with you and saying, so Jimmy, what's getting in the way of you, doing your work today? Because if you're not doing your work, you're just fired. Right. So, yeah. So, it's a really personable industry, and it's my duty as a leader to always be committed to growth and improving and learning and implementing new things and becoming a more well-rounded human being, and showing, leading by leading, right? Leading from the front by showing them what that looks like, and letting the people who also want that then kind of step up and follow in the footsteps.
Yeah. Oh man, that you're so true. And again, as a team leader, as a sales director, as someone that leads people, a lot of people don't understand the pressure that does come with that, right? And you've got, like you said, you've got these 49 people staring back at you, like, what do we do next? And a guy like yourself, because I know I've known you for a long time, but you care about people, right? Like that's one of the things that has carried us through this business, is the fact that you care about people, not only your clients but not your agents, right? And that can be a stressor as well. Like, I just sometimes, like, when I feel like I care more about you than you do, like that's hard on guys like us, like on people like us. That's hard on us, because it's like, I see this in you. Just do what I'm telling you to do.
Yeah, it is. Joe and I have banged our heads against the wall a number of times with, a number of different people, because we know they have it in them, but they just can't seem to get out of their own way. And it is frustrating, man. And it's something that I don't ever know that I'll perfect. We try to, like, it's that old, when people show you who they are, believe them. But at the core too, we know that everyone's capable of more, and it's just kind of unlocking that. And so it's really coaching is an interesting thing, because each person has a different set of circumstances that might be holding them back from reaching their true potential. And it's really about uncovering what it is for that individual that they need to discover about themselves, or change about the way that they're approaching their business. And in order to finally take that next step, there's no one like cookie cutter way to coach an agent, and each person has individual problems, individual even traumas, things that have happened to them in their life that they need to somehow address or overcome in order to take the next step. So we try not to want it more than them, but when you do care about people and you want them to succeed, it's really hard not to, man. And we have to take it with a grain of salt and remember, hey, we can lead you to water. We can show you where it is, but we can't force you to drink it. And that's just what we try to do, is just create that environment where someone can thrive. And ultimately, if we're putting down fertile soil and feeding it and fertilizing and all the things that you think of when you are growing a plant or crops, right? It's up to them to grow, right? We're going to create that environment that allows them to grow to the tallest height they can, but it's going to be up to them to actually take that advice, take the lessons, take the opportunity, and grab it by the horns and go after it and go get it.
Yeah. That's one of the things I learned from. I was on a call with John Kitchen, and John said that's a hard thing for him as well, right? And he said the problem is, you have the agents come in your office, they they leave all their junk monkeys on your desk and then they leave, and now you're stuck with them. He's like, no, take those with you. Like, we'll talk about that, we'll get them all out, but then you got to take that with you. Like, I can't keep that because I've already got my own junk monkeys. Like, I don't need any more. So that's one of the lessons I've learned along the way too. Is like, yes, I hear your problem. I'm helping you fix it. But it's hard for us to not dwell on it when we have 50 people looking at us. So I think that's a lesson for people that are listening too, right? Is yes, we want to help people. We're going to do the best we can and all those things, but at some point you have to do some things on your own. You have to do some things on your own. So that's good stuff, man. We got about 4 minutes left. Where do you see the market? What's your prediction over the next couple years? With the market, the agents, what's going to be the biggest changes you see coming in the next couple of years?
Oh man, as asking me to pull up my crystal ball, I mean things are so crazy between the MLS battles and the Zillow and the Compass and all this stuff that we've got going on. I mean, I personally would love to see the industry take a step backwards in a way. I am a big believer that we agents should be the controllers of our data. I think Zillow's great. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. It's a great app for homeowners. But Zillow would be nothing without the information that we as agents feed it, our listing photos, our listing descriptions, our relationships with clients that we build. And it's disheartening to know that they control it and then tax all of our agents a 40%, 50% referral fee simply for doing the business that they're already, that they would be doing otherwise. So I'm hoping that there can be some resolution towards kind of getting back control of our industry. I also have a kind of a crazy hot take that I think MLS dues should be higher. I think that agents should pay. Don't get mad at me for this, but I personally, I think that agents should have to pay like closer to $5,000 or $10,000 a year in dues. And I know that could be a sticker shock, but go with me on this. Hear me out. If agents had to pay $5,000 to $10,000 to keep their license, you got every cousin, friend, aunt who got their license for that one deal just to help someone out. They're not keeping their license anymore. You're going to have this mass exodus of all these part-time agents. When you see those stats that say 70% of agents haven't sold a home this year, well, guess what? Those 70% are all gone because they're not going to pay $10,000 a year to not sell a home. And when 70% of the agents leave, that leaves the 30% professionals like us, and we're going to have a huge uptick in business. Now, I don't have the lobby behind me. That's just a pipe dream. But personally, I think it would be better for the industry if we had more professionals, less part-timers, and that, again, that would, I believe that would increase our trust with the consumer. There's so many stories out there about my real estate agent did this and, I can sell it on my own. Why would I pay you this money? Well, and to be fair, probably some of them are true and accurate, and they unfortunately hired someone who, either didn't have the right training, didn't know what they were doing, worked another job, didn't have the ability to, to service that client in the right way. So I got some hot takes there. I want, I'm not going to say this, but, I want us to control the data again. I think that would be a huge win for the MLSs and agents. And I want to see some of the riffraff get out so that agents who are like us on this podcast right now at 7:30 in the morning, taking their business seriously, can reap those benefits and stop losing a listing to cousin Sally, who sold a house in 1984 and has kept her license active, but doesn't know anything about transactions today or technology today, and makes the whole process a nightmare for everybody.
Man, those are some hot.
Man, I'm calling it how it is, dude. Yeah.
All right, Mark says he wants MLS to be $10,000 a year.
Yeah, that's the takeaway. Yeah.
the hot takeaway for the whole thing, not all the with all the other stuff, but just that one soundbite. We're gonna cut that. They're gonna cut that one soundbite out, but
Yeah, put that
No,
as the thumbnail on the podcast sites. Yeah,
we're gonna change that thumbnail. That's gonna be the new one. Is he wants MLS to be 10 grand a year.
yeah. I think we'll get a lot of
But
clicks.
yeah, and there is something to be said about that, though, right? Like there is something to be said about that, and I don't disagree with you. I don't really want to pay the money, but I don't disagree with you. Because you're right. That 70% that says that 70% don't sell anything. There's a bunch of agents out there that got their license and just kind of hang around because they moved to sell 1 or 2 houses a year, or sell nothing for the next 2 years and then one. And so yeah, I don't disagree with you on that to get some of that out of there. But well, man, and I appreciate the time, buddy. I thank you for joining me this morning and getting out of bed early. And but you're probably up anyway, so you're like us. The rest of us probably don't sleep right
Yeah.
now. So.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. It's been a pleasure, and yeah, it's been awesome talking to you. And sorry about the technical problems, everybody, but I think we made it through. And, yeah, okay.
Man, I don't know what I got to do here, but where can everybody find you?
MarkWhiteSells.com, Mark White Realtor on YouTube. My Instagram's a little tricky, but it's OH, like it's hi Mark, OH_HI_MARRK, and Mark Whitehead on Facebook. And yeah, any agents, if anyone like heard anything today and you just want to chat, pick my brain, send me a DM, reach out to me. I'm happy to help. If anyone wants to just chat about life and the Lions, I'm whatever, I'm down to talk. So give me a shout.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, I appreciate everybody. Thanks for listening this morning. If you're listening now, listen later, go ahead, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and Lead Edge Network, and find us wherever you find podcasts. We'll see you all next week.
Thanks, Jimmy. Bye, everyone.